We will get started. Thank you for joining today. And before we start, I want you to think about something. How many of you have ever looked at someone's career and thought, how did they get that opportunity? The promotion, the board seat, the speaking engagement, the client, the investment, the leadership role. And if we're being honest, sometimes, most times, they're not smarter than you. They're not experienced, and a lot of times they're not even better than you. Yet somehow opportunities keep finding them. Why? Most people think opportunity follows talent. And I've spent 20 plus years in the corporate leadership and now coaching executives and rising leaders across industries. And specifically, what I've learned is that opportunity doesn't follow talent. Opportunity follows visibility, visibility follows clarity, and the leaders who accelerate aren't necessarily the most qualified. The ones that are understood are the ones that are rising above. People know what they stand for, people know how they think, and people know what they're known for. And that's becoming even more important in an AI driven world because AI is rapidly making expertise accessible. What it cannot replace is your judgment, your experiences, your pattern recognition, your point of view, which brings me to the biggest mistake I see ambitious professionals make. They spend years accumulating expertise, but almost no time translating that expertise into authority. They know more than they communicate. They contribute more than they actually share. They've built incredible careers, but struggle to articulate why they're different. And today, we're going to fix that on this live webinar. Because by the time of our end together, I don't want to leave you with just content ideas. I want to leave you with something much more valuable. I want to leave you with clarity. Clarity about what you stand for. Clarity about what makes you different. Clarity about opportunities you're uniquely positioned to pursue. Because once you have that clarity, confidence follows. And when confidence meets conviction, that's when careers change. That's when businesses grow. And that's when opportunities compound. So let's get started. By the end of today, you'll leave with your authority architecture, your leadership positioning that's unique to you, your 3 thought leadership pillars, an AI powered visibility system, a 90-day authority growth plan. There's 3 forces that have changed the game and why we're here today. There have been over 500,000 plus tech layoffs in the past few years. AI is commoditizing execution. Everyone Googles you before opportunities happen. The people getting promoted, those getting hired, those getting invited to speak, those getting funded and recruited aren't necessarily the smartest. They're the most visible and the ones that are most trusted. What happens when your expertise stays hidden? You get overlooked. You get passed over. You become replaceable. You watch less qualified people receive opportunities that should have been yours. Visibility is no longer optional. It's a part of leadership. Most professionals believe work hard, you get noticed. But the reality is working hard and communicating value, building visibility, and developing influence all together combined equal the right opportunities. Are you present for those today? And how are you making it happen for you? The simple formula for authority is expertise times visibility times influence equals authority. If you miss one component of these, the growth slows. Most people only focus on expertise because that's all we've known to really shepherd the past 20 plus years. But the highest performing leaders, the ones that will be known today, the ones that are getting discovered, and the ones that are getting highly sought after, develop all 3 simultaneously. For me, my story, corporate executive, Forbes contributor, speaker, board advisor, and now executive coach. None of these opportunities came from creating more content. They came from developing better clarity around what I specifically stand for, who I help, and what I want to be known for. All content is not the goal. Authority is. Content is simply the amplifier. Without clarity, more content creates more noise in an already cluttered system. With clarity, one post can change your entire trajectory for either your career or for your business. There's three pillars to an authority architecture: problem, proof, vision, and everything else is built on top of all these. You want to start with the problem. What is the pattern that everyone else keeps missing? In a sea of sameness, in a sea where all this content is existing on steroids, you want to make sure that you have a pointed view, that you stand out from the clutter, typically a contrarian angle around the problem. Examples: leaders don't get passed over because of skill. They get passed over because their value isn't understood. How is this problem being articulated by you today? Do you even really understand the problems that are nascent to your customers or to the leaders that are existing within your organization? Or do you just manufacture those on your own? Having real time feedback within the industry, within the environment that you're existing, is going to help you stand for something. The second pillar is proof: your methodology, your framework, your lived experience, the unique way that you solve problems specifically. Our entire careers, we thought of these as job descriptions. And yes, while those are roles and responsibilities that we've carried out, we underestimate the patterns that we've developed over so many years of experience existing within process, people, technology, and systems. We've been thought to challenge status quo. We've developed new ways of working for efficiencies, for driving better revenue unlocks, but we miss being able to articulate those stories that have shaped us, that have catapulted our growth. And that's what I'm asking you to come prepared with when you think about proof within your architecture. The third pillar is vision. Where is your industry going? What should people be preparing for? And why are you uniquely positioned to help them? Your angles around these are what's missing within the landscape. There's no shortage of high level thought leadership that's out there. But to go one layer deeper around why this matters today and how specifically you can solve problems that exist, those boiling tension points, that's your secret sauce to becoming this authority engine within 2026 and beyond. So I built a live exercise for you all that where you're going to be able to take some screenshots of some prompts. And if you have your browser open, you're going to copy and paste this in, because people think they have a content problem, but what they actually have is a clarity problem. And so we're going to fix that right now. So I want you to open up your AI platform of choice and copy and paste this prompt directly into the browser. So the prompt is: I am X role with X amount of years of experience in said industry. I want to be known for my expertise, increase my visibility, and develop thought leadership based on my real world experience as an executive coach and thought leadership strategist. For me, I'd keep the coach in. For you, adapt it to your own. Help me uncover my unique authority architecture. Ask me the following questions one at a time. Number one, what recurring problems do I solve better than most people? What frustrations do I repeatedly see in my industry that others seem to accept as normal? What patterns have I observed throughout my career that continue to prove true? Number four, what lessons did I learn the hard way that others could benefit from? We have no shortage of those examples. What advice do people consistently seek me out for? What future changes do I believe leaders should prepare for right now? Now, you're going to ask me the following questions one at a time. This is the prompt that you continue to put into your AI platform of choice. This is where AI is going to become your amplifier, not your replacement. Your amplifier. Let that sink in. The distinction matters. So, within your prompt, the first question is, what recurring problems do I solve better than most people? The second, what frustrations do I repeatedly see in my industry that others accept as normal? What are the patterns? What are the lessons? What are the advice? And what future changes do I believe leaders need? As you think to respond into your AI, I want to challenge you to go deep, deep in terms of case studies of the results that you've led people on, that you've increased profitability, that you've uncovered new ways of systems and efficiency unlocks for the organizations you worked for or within. And as the AI is asking you all these questions, I want you to reframe and ask AI to think about reviewing your responses in this infrastructure that you see here on the screen. So you're going to ask it to create your problem pillar, your proof pillar, your vision pillar through all the questions that you see here. And ask it to provide you your unique point of view in one sentence. That one sentence and all those pillars that you've just worked through on your AI is going to now give you 3 potential LinkedIn posts for each pillar. So also content for a speaking topic. Even further, an article idea or a newsletter topic for you. One bold statement that you want to be known for. If there's any generic answers, ask it to push you towards specificity. The goal here, like I mentioned, is it for it to be an amplifier for you, to provide the unlock around the systems that you need to strive further within your strategy. So I'm going to give 2 minutes to let you work through these prompts and your exercises and drop in the chat if anything comes to mind that you were not initially thinking of. Remember, your goal is to stand out. So as it's architecting these questions against you, you want to make sure that you're giving specific who, what, when, where, how, and why answers around your architecture. If you're just trying out AI and you've been challenged with how to actually make it work for you, the devil is in the prompting and how you're asking the questions. For it to be your soundboard and springboard off the ideas that are already within your case studies, presentations you've already done in the corporate setting, proposals you've done, call notes you've taken, all that is feedback. All of that is your journey specifically to telling your story in a more focused, consistent way. And the challenge is to move beyond just a typical resume and a sea of sameness to stand out, to really make your declaration, to move forward for what you believe in, for where you stand, and how to unlock those opportunities for yourself. I'll give you another moment to work through your answers, and then we'll continue on. I want you to notice how AI helps synthesize those ideas that have been stuck in your head, the thing that you couldn't necessarily name that you were good at. Notice the speed to packaging up how you think about yourself and how you specifically present yourself out there in your industry. Most content fails because there is no positioning, there's no differentiation, there's no audience connection, no opportunities. There's nothing distinctive about the story that you're telling. And when people are scrolling at volume throughout the day, it's even harder to make sure that you unlock that connection that's going to move them forward. You have to think about what's on the other side of you and what is going to get your prospect, your supervisor, your key executives to lean in, to consider your perspective, how it lands across their priorities. Why is this something that they need to know right now, specifically from you, with only the way that you could tell it? A lot of times our communication is not wrong. It just lands wrong because we don't understand how to read the room correctly and how to take somebody on a journey of a story specifically to tell impact, to tell and unlock the potential of what's next. So I want you to think of this as three pieces of the authority engine, which is extracting all that intellectual property that you have within your brain, all the historical notes that you've taken, observations you've had. We're living in the leadership laboratory through all the organizations we work for and within. How can we best tell these types of patterns that we see unfolding before us that many can relate to, regardless of industry? Translating those comes from AI, the unlock to how you actually connect and build multiple pieces of content is then driven through the amplification. So for one idea, you can specifically distribute across all channels of your choice, but most importantly, where your audience connects with you the most and where they need to hear it the most in today's day and age. I want to share something that completely changed how I think about leadership specifically. A few months ago, I wrote the Forbes article, You're Living in a Leadership Laboratory. And the core idea was simple. Most people think leadership development happens in a classroom, a certification program, a workshop, or when they finally get promoted. And I specifically disagree with this point. Your entire career is a laboratory. Every difficult manager you've had, every team you've led, every client you've supported, every failure, every promotion, every conflict, every success, every mistake that you've made. Every one of those experiences is generating data. But the question is, are you actually paying attention? For years, I did what many ambitious professionals do. I watched successful people. I studied executives, and I copied what appeared to work for them. I thought leadership was about finding the right formula, the right words, the right style, the right way to show up. But something interesting happened. The more I mimicked what I saw, the less authentic I felt, the less differentiated I became, the less clear I was about what I actually believed, and the last time I actually thought for myself. Everything changed when I started asking different questions. Instead of asking, what should I say? I started asking, what patterns am I seeing? Instead of asking, what is everyone else doing? I started asking, what have I learned that others might benefit from? Instead of chasing answers, I became curious. And curiosity created clarity. And I started to notice recurring themes. The leaders who got promoted weren't always the ones that were most talented. The organizations struggling with AI weren't struggling because of the technology. They were struggling because of leadership or lack thereof leadership. The highest performers weren't necessarily working harder. They just operated differently. Those patterns became my own frameworks. The frameworks became my own point of view. Those point of views became content. And those insights became speeches. Speeches then led to unbounty of opportunities. And once I had clarity around what I believed, something powerful happened. I gained my own self-confidence, and that confidence to stop sounding like everyone else, confidence to stop waiting for permission, confidence to trust my own experiences. And that confidence eventually became conviction, a word you don't hear too much today. The conviction to publish, the conviction to speak, the conviction to join Forbes, the conviction to coach, and the conviction to finally take a stand for myself, for the legacy and impact that I wanted to leave. And that's when those opportunities began to compound, not because I'm necessarily smarter, not because I'm more qualified, because I became more visible about what I genuinely believed in. And that's the real purpose of thought leadership. It isn't creating content. It's capturing the wisdom you've already earned. Your experiences are not random. They're evidence. Your career is not a collection of jobs. it's a collection of insights. The question isn't whether you have something valuable to say. The question is, have you spent enough time observing your own laboratory to recognize it? This is the visibility flywheel. One opportunity creates another. One article creates your next speaking engagement. A speaking engagement unlocks a new client opportunity. A client develops a groundbreaking case study for your business. A case study creates the credibility that you so seek to earn. And that is how authority compounds. It starts slowly, but the leaders committed to the system find that within 90 days, momentum becomes self-sustaining. Your 90-day authority plan, it's designed to help you roadmap success. Weekly, an authority post, a focused insight, a perspective, or a lesson that reinforces one of the three pillars that I outlined at the top of this call. Consistent weekly presence compounds the effect over time. Monthly, one long form piece, an article, an essay, a newsletter that goes deeper. This is where you demonstrate intellectual leadership and earn trust with a more engaged audience. Quarterly, one authority asset, a speaking engagement, a published article in a major outlet, research contribution, or a workshop. Each quarter, add one high signal proof point to your body of work. The goal here is not volume. One well-positioned post per week outperforms even unfocused posts that are seen at scale. And this is where most people fail, not because they're incapable, because they don't have a system. And simplicity is key. I need to tell you something. Everything that we discussed today is useful, but the biggest challenge my clients face is not content. Content alone won't save you. A schedule doesn't give you strategic clarity. The AI algorithm can't tell you where to place your bets and consistently upgrade. A viral moment, which everybody is desiring to go, won't build the trust required to lead through uncertainty and a sustainable business. Authority, real authority, is built from inside out, and it starts with knowing exactly what you stand for, who it is you serve, and where you're taking them. Content is how you communicate that, but clarity is what makes it land. So I want you to take a step back and imagine it's October. 3 months have passed. Nothing's changed. You're still unsure where to start, still invisible, still delaying, even more overwhelmed, and wondering what's next. What is the cost of putting off who you want to be today and who you want to serve? The leaders who are building lasting authority don't wait for the perfect moment. They start now, they refine as they go, and they let the flywheel do the rest. And this is exactly why I built the Operator's Intelligence Sprint. This is a 5-day focus workshop within month of July. And it's designed so that you walk away with knowing exactly what matters, where to focus, and exactly what your next move is. The sprint is engineered to produce a specific, tangible output. You won't just feel inspired. You'll have a complete strategic playbook at the end of the 5 days. We start with your highest leveraged opportunity, identifying exactly where to focus for maximum impact right now. Decision-making framework, a repeatable system to make faster, better decisions under pressure. We could all use that. A visibility plan, crafting a strategy so the right people see your impact and, most importantly, your expertise. Growth bottle diagnosis. Name and break through the one thing right now that's slowing you down and do something about it. Your AI advantage strategy. Deploying AI as your force multiplier into your daily workflow. You're no longer testing, but developing systems to exponentially catapult your productivity. A 90-day roadmap, leaving with a concrete sequence plan and the confidence to execute it. Now, imagine walking into August with that. Who is this for? As I'm describing each one of these people, I want you to see if you recognize yourself. It's been designed for people who carry real weight and those that are ready to operate at their highest level. Founders and executives, those leaders making high-stake decisions daily who need sharper clarity and a stronger strategic edge. Women in tech, talented professionals navigating growth, advocating for their visibility, and preparing for their next level. High responsibility operators, corporate leaders, and professionals carrying significant responsibility who need a clear, actionable roadmap forward. This matters because the greatest cost in business is not failure. I believe it's drift. Months pass without progress, opportunities passing without action, potential going unrealized. The leaders who win are not always the most talented. They're the most decisive. And 5 days of focus now can save you 6 months of frustration later. The cost of that clarity is a mere $150. The cost of confusion is incalculable. So everything I've shared with you today can absolutely help you. But information does not cause transformation. Implementation does. The operator's intelligence sprint is where we move from ideas to action. 5 days, 5 frameworks, 1 roadmap. For less than most people spend on dinner and drinks. July 20th through July 24th, $150. If you've spent the last hour nodding your head, if you've recognized yourself in these stories that I shared today, if you're tired of wondering what your next moment should be and how best to succeed, I would love for you to join us. Don't leave here inspired. I want you to leave here committed. The very opportunity I've had in my career started with a decision, not certainty, a decision. Forbes Communication Council was uncertainty. Speaking was never a goal of mine. Starting a coaching business wasn't something that I had given any thought to. It was a decision. And the future belongs to the people willing to decide before they feel ready. You already know enough. You already have enough experience, and you already have enough expertise. The question isn't whether you're capable. The question is whether you're willing to act. And so, I hope I'll see you on July 20th.